Previously on the 100, on their quest to locate and paddle into the largest waves in the world, Nick Lamb and Andres Flores scored massive waves at the Mexican pipeline in Puerto Escondido. Upon their return, Nick waited to hear if he would be competing in the second stop of the Big Wave World Tour at Pico Alto, Peru. Big wave surfing contests require rare and unpredictable swells that generate waves of a minimum of 30 feet at specific locations. For this reason, the contests use a window of time that creates the best opportunity for optimal conditions to occur. As the Maverick Moments team plans their next mission, they find out that the waiting period has been extended for the Pico Alto competition. Nick must be prepared to leave at any moment if he is called on as an alternate. Meanwhile, Nick and Andres fulfill sponsor commitments and head to Orlando, Florida to participate in the 2013 Surf Expo. Surf Expo is one of the fastest growing trade shows in America, this year's show marking a record-breaking 27,000 attendees. The surf industry is exploding, with an expected worth of $13.2 billion in the next few years. Nick and Andres have been asked to sign posters for fans in one of the show sponsors' booths.
I just received an email from Maverick Moments saying that we're going to the Florida Surf Expo.
So we decided to come out to Florida for the Surf Expo. It's a pretty insane event. It's a huge convention.
Everybody that is there, they are mainly focused on getting their products into the extreme sport.
They have everything from sup to surf to apparel. Yeah, the convention here, has a list full of amazing events.
There were a few fashion shows showing bikinis, wetsuits, the Typhoon Lagoon.
There are people doing yoga on surfboards, stand-up paddle boards, the wakeboarding awards. There's a skate park inside the convention center. Andres and I, we were here just signing posters and doing the whole photo thing and helping push Tough Med, and it's a really great place to meet, network with new people, potentially collaborate.
The media is pretty much the main attraction to get all the sports and all their products to get to their customers.
It's something that reaches out to people inland, people all over the world, that have no idea what surfing is. It's a very powerful tool, and it's needed, absolutely.
Surfing is more than a sport. It has been helping influence culture for over 5 decades. In celebration of this unique culture, surf film festivals have been created by communities across the globe, including locations such as New York, London, Cape Town, South Africa, and hundreds more, allowing mainstream audiences to experience the thrill of riding the ocean. Surf festivals, films, magazines, and the internet feature the efforts of the silent workhorses of the surfing world. This elite and talented group of cinematographers and photographers capture the incredible images that fuel surfing culture and the industry behind it.
I first got into photography in high school when I was about 14 or 15.
I've tried to focus on shooting in the water as much as possible.
I'm a journalist basically out there, and I got to capture the action.
I've shot Michael Phelps swimming above me. I've shot in a cage of 350-pound bluefin tuna. The only thing I have next is a big barrel heading right towards me.
There's a powerful kind of feeling when you get out there. You can feel some energy. First time I ever went out was on a boat. That was in 2010. You're about 100 feet away from the biggest waves in the world you could ever imagine. It's just that's a pretty humbling experience, just being that close. So kind of in the channel, I saw the wave coming. I just grabbed my camera. I was just trying to keep it as steady as I could and just get that shot. Those couple of few waves when they went by, I didn't even really realize it. How big they actually were, and we found out I actually got nominated for one of the biggest waves of the season. I felt like I won the lottery almost. There's hundreds of photographers, and there's hundreds of waves and hundreds of surfers. To be selected like that, I was just felt really special and really lucky,
Once a year, their work and the feats of these incredible athletes is celebrated and rewarded at the Billabong XXL Awards at the Grove Theater in Anaheim, California. Many times, these same surfers and cinematographers are called upon to provide difficult and dangerous rescues to the same athletes that they capture.
When I'm filming and somebody wipes out, I have to make a conscious decision to see if there's anybody else out that's going to rescue. I make sure that there's immediately no imminent danger to the person.
Kind of the climax of my story in Chasing the Swell was Shane Dorian wiping out. And as far as I know, I was the only one that followed him with a camera. These guys wipe out, but you might be missing like the XXL wave of the year if you're just following some guy bobbing around in the water.
I think it helps to have that ocean knowledge from surfing to be able to go and actually rescue somebody. You kind of need that because you got to know where the waves are and where it's going to break.
If there's not waves out the back, then usually I can continue filming because I know that chances are the person's going to be okay. If there's 3 or 4 waves out the back, then my senses become more heightened, and then that's when I kick into gear.
Uh-oh! Boss, yes, don't even come up yet.
A lot goes into it. I mean, you got to think about your safety, and then also if you're going out with a partner, you got to be able to look after one another, and they have to trust you with their lives, and you have to trust them with your lives. There's no joke, you got to be physically, mentally, and spiritually probably prepared to go out there, I'd say.
If somebody's in really bad shape, we're prepared to jump off the ski, climb down the leash, and give our friend some air and pull him up and drag him to the channel.
I saw his board tombstone, and he does surface for like a breath after a minute, and you can see his board kind of come up, but then he gets dragged down again.
It seems like everything goes into slow motion, and you just everything feels really calculated in your head, but I think it's because there's such a vast, powerful beast. If you panic, then that beast beats you mentally as well as physically. If you panic, you're fucked.
Say the wave breaks on you and you lose your ski, or your buddy gets washed through the rocks.
Person vanishes into thin air in front of your eyes, and you can't wrap your head around it. You don't understand why or where they are, and all of a sudden you seem very small and helpless.
In the past 3 decades, several world-class big wave surfers have been killed pursuing their passion to ride the largest waves in the world. These fearless athletes provide the most compelling imagery in the surfing world. So much so that the governing body of competitive surfing, known as the Association of Surfing Professionals, or the ASP, recently adopted the Big Wave World Tour, stating that people riding 30-foot-plus waves have the ability to reach a broader audience. Midway through the Surf Expo, the team learns that the waiting period for the Pico Alto competition has been extended due to lack of waves. It is looking more likely that the event will not be held this year. With the possibility of the Pico Alto competition being canceled, Nick and Andres turn their attention to the 3rd stop and crown jewel of the Big Wave World Tour in Half Moon Bay, California, the world-famous break known as Mavericks. With freezing cold temperatures, a great white shark breeding ground, and the possibility of being lodged into a cave of rocks 50 feet below the surface, Mavericks requires the highest level of preparation, talent, and training to successfully ride the waves. Nick Lamb is the youngest recorded person to surf Mavericks at the age of 14 and has been an alternate for the competition for the past 5 years. Nick hopes that this year's announcement of invitees will have him listed as a competitor, rather than an alternate. As the team awaits the Mavericks competitor announcement, Nick and Andres continue to fulfill sponsor obligations in Florida at the Surf Expo.
The convention here in Florida was a great success.
A lot of people like, hey, how did you do? Everybody was stoked. Yeah, we did great. We got a lot of connections. We sell a lot of stuff. So I saw a lot of good vibes. Everybody was stoked. Just catching the flight back to LA, and looking forward for the future. It looks pretty bright, and I'm excited to see what's coming.
On the final day of the Expo, Mavericks Invitational released the list of invitees for the competition. Nick Lamb was invited and will compete for the first time in this legendary event.
So stoked because my partner in crime, he's actually finally on the Mavericks contest, well deserved, and yeah, looking forward to see him shredding.
I think our next destination is going to be Portugal, and the swells are looking pretty good, so we're all pretty excited. Fingers crossed for that one.
As the team heads back to California, they discuss the possibilities of their next mission. Torn between pursuing the recently discovered record-breaking waves in Nazar, Portugal, or heading up the California coast to Half Moon Bay to prepare for the upcoming Maverick season and competition. Their fate, as always, will be determined by the swell.
It's been a wave that I've just looked up to, you know, my whole life. To me, it's the gnarliest wave on the planet. All the guys that surf out there I've like really always looked up to.